And we welcome you one and all here to Dillon Motor Speedway. We're getting ready for short track Saturday night here on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday evening here in the Palmetto State. And before we get ready for the other big races, we have the Palmetto Vintage Racing Club here. They'll be ready to go here in just a couple of moments. They'll make their way around the Speedway. Such an awesome group here. A great, great day of racing, a night of racing. We're glad you're spending it with us here at Dillon Motor Speedway. The sights and sounds of short track racing, grassroots racing, alive and well. As again, a great, great 2019 racing season scheduled. The weather, you can't ask for any better. Can't ask for any better weather racing weather than today. Temperatures in the 70s. Got everything that you could choose from vintage race cars to late models to the Allison Legacy Series, continuing the great tradition of the legacy and the Allison family of what they did in motorsports. And also the Palmetto Vintage Cars from old Ramby Raceway. Before it was ever known as Myrtle Beach Speedway, it was known as Ramby Raceway. Well, there is Tom Lupo's car, sponsored by Piggly Wiggly, one of the former NASCAR K&N Series cars of Clint King in car number 07, who now competes in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series. Some old vintage race cars. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Telling the Back is one of the cars that Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series retired driver from Joplin, Missouri, Carl Edwards, used to pilot in the Office Depot car number 99 for Roush Fenway Racing. Dillon, South Carolina, I present to you the Palmetto Vintage Racing Club Association. Give them a round of applause as they come down the front straightaway. Yay! Woo! We're here! The lights are extinguished. We will go to green next time by.
How many laps are on? 20 laps, Ron? 20. You said you don't think? I'm afraid to get by you. I'm afraid to get sick.
20. We got 20 right here. 20.
Here we go.
20 laps here.
There we go. 20 cars, 20 laps. The Palmetto Vintage Racing Club Association set to come to the green flag. CRN Saturday night. Short track Saturday night. They're coming to the line. Here they come. Green's in the air. We're underway. Your first race underway. It's with those Palmetto Vintage Racing Club cars and the Clint King machine jumping out quickly to the early lead. Well, how about this? We're in the early going. Good racing here. Here they come out of turn number 4. It's that Clint King car of the K&N Series out in front. Laps of racing. That's the distance they'll run. 20 laps. And we're in the early going here. The Palmetto Vintage Racing Club Association. They're the ones that are in action right now. Here the early going. Flying across the stripe. Another lap in. A great crowd on hand. for the first feature race of the night. They'll come to the line, and we are about 1/4 of the way through. 5 laps in, 15 to go. And out in front, it is now going to be that Clint King machine starting to pick off lap traffic one by one. A little nostalgia, if you will, of the history of the racing program here at Dillon Motor Speedway. And they will come to the line and put another lap on the board. These vintage cars of the Palmetto Vintage Racing Club racing hard here. The opening laps. Nice look down of nostalgia of racing from back in the day. Cars from Ramby Raceway and Myrtle Beach Speedway and so many more. The Palmetto Vintage Racing Association operated by Johnny O'Neill and Willie Granger. As they'll come out of turn 4. Carl Edwards' car is smoking as he exits turn 4. Smoke coming out of the back end of the 99 machine as he goes up the racetrack out of turn number 2. Yes, this is an exhibition race, but these drivers are enjoying racing here. And we're still in the early going. Their distance will be 20 laps. We just passed halfway. 10 down and 10 to go. Here in the early going. This is Short Track Saturday night on the CRN Sports Network for executive producer Trace Nod, Wesley Outland running the boards. Great racing going on here at Dillon Motor Speedway. And just getting started. The Allison Legacy cars, they put on a phenomenal show. And up the wall goes the 99 car. That was the one we were talking about, the colors of Carl Edwards. One of the former NASCAR Cup Series rides of Joplin, Missouri's Carl Edwards out there on the racetrack. As they'll come to the line and another lap in, you've got one of the cars of Tom Lupo, a former champion back in the 50s with Ramby Raceway, when Ramby Raceway is now known as Myrtle Beach Speedway. Beautiful crowd on hand, beautiful car count in all divisions. We're ready to light them up here tonight in the Palmetto State, Dillon Motor Speedway. We're so glad you're with us. And still in the early going. Another lap in the board. Lap 18 of 20. They'll come to the line next time by, and it will be the white flag. So the white flag will go in the air next time around. They'll come to the stripe. One more lap remaining. What a show they're putting on. The Palmetto Vintage Racing Association off of turn number 4. And the checkered flag coming out over the field. Good little show they put on. We'll grab an interview with our drivers here in just a moment. All right, race fans, we'll go down there trackside in just a few moments, and we're going to get you word with our drivers of the Palmetto Vintage Racing Association. How about it, fans? Give them a round of applause as they get ready to climb out of their cars. So again, race fans, there are two different winners in these classes, kind of like you see in a lot of the vintage racing club classes that race here, or of course at other tracks at Dillon Motor Speedway, Myrtle Beach, Florence, all these other great facilities.
That's actually 4 different ones.
Okay, where are they at?
2 of them went in. These 2 here, and the track put 2 trophies down. They didn't.
Okay. The guy's telling me there's supposed to be 4 different winners. The guy up there told me 2. So, okay. So we got car number 37, this nice-looking machine, racing for a cure. Of course, October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but I love the colors. Mr. Harris, tell everybody your name, where you're from, and how much fun you have racing here today in the modified portion of this race.
My name is Wade Skipper. I'm from Conway, and I have a blast racing here.
Have a blast racing, Mr. Skipper. Talk about this Oldsmobile modified, because I got an Oldsmobile car myself, and I like to drive all over the place with it.
It's actually a 36, what they call a 3-window. We found it in the mountains of North Carolina, just a body. The chassis under it's a stock Camaro clip with a tube rear, 3-link car on coilovers. It's pretty good.
There you go. Mackenzie, come on in here. Hey, race fans, let's give a round of applause to Miss Mackenzie. She's going to be our trophy girl tonight. She's going to be standing in victory lane having pictures with all the winners. This driver used to operate in the K&N Series for Clint King's machine. How did you get Clint King's car? He's a good buddy of mine in the NASCAR world.
Well, what happened is I've taken care of, he's got a super truck now.
That's right. Runs in the Struck Series.
And I was working on it, and this was sitting in the corner. And he said, well, how much I owe you? I said, well, how much you want for the car? He said, take it. I said, okay. That's the way I got
That's
it.
how you take it. That's how you pay a debt off, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I've had a good time. I appreciate these guys letting me run with them.
Man, you was flying with them, too, man. You look really strong.
Yeah, it was running good. The tires, I knew he would probably catch me because the tires gave up a little bit. But that's okay. I had a good time.
Now, is this car still meet the specifications of the NASCAR K&N Series? So if you ever decided to want to run, put $60,000 into a season running the K&N Series, would you do it?
Not me, no. I'm too old and fat. I just want to come out here and play. But yeah, you can still run this car in Candy.
He says he'll do it. He'll volunteer.
He's going to volunteer? Okay.
Let everybody know your name.
Scott Murphy.
Scott Murphy, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Murphy, Mr. Skipper. Give him a round of applause. The drivers of the Palmetto Vintage Racing Association here at Dillon Motor Speedway. What a great show they put on. And don't forget, as always, in March, it'll be next year, the 10th annual Sutter Vintage Race Car Classic and Dillon Motor Speedway. Ron Barfield, that's always a great show.